you think of the Nintendo GameCube, there are probably a few games that immediately come to mind. Games like Super Smash Bros. Melee, or Metroid Prime 1 and 2, or Resident Evil 4. Titles that are generally well received and well known. When I think of the Nintendo GameCube, the first thing that comes to my mind is this right here, Kirby Air Ride.
Kirby Air Ride. Yes, you heard me right, because there's actually no apostrophe S. This game has to be one of my all-time favorite GameCube titles. Released in October of 2003, it was quickly tossed aside as a gimmick and overshadowed by Mario Kart Double Dash and F-Zero GX, two other Nintendo racing titles on the same system. Reviewers didn't give it a second glance and trashed the games over simplicity as bad design. But is Kirby Air Ride really just a cheap spin-off? First and foremost, I am a huge Kirby fan to begin with. Kirby Superstar, also missing an apostrophe S, is definitely in my top 3 Super Nintendo games of all time. While no Kirby game really provides a huge challenge for the hardcore gamer, they're always a great time and usually have tons of stuff to do. Air Ride in particular has hours upon hours of fun to be had, thanks to the checkbox system. If you've never played Air Ride, checkboxes are essentially achievements. Each of the 3 modes within this game has a huge 10x12 grid of checkboxes, each one of those boxes being something fun to complete within the game. Some of these are extremely easy and you'll get them without even thinking, but others are a bit tougher and may require you to really work at it. When you check off a checkbox, the 4 squares directly next to it will become available for you to view. This allows you to progress in small steps at a time. If you can't seem to get one goal you're working at, you can look for another one to do. And after beating that one, you'll open up even more to do. This snowballs pretty quickly, and sooner than you know it, you'll have most of the grid filled out. You'll be doubly motivated to keep checking off boxes because about half of them unlock more content in the game. Everything from different colored Kirbys to use, more Air Ride machines to race with, extra songs for the sound test, you can even unlock Meta Knight and King Dedede as playable characters. This system really works to drive you through the game. While playing, you always feel like you're accomplishing something, and you get rewards for almost everything you do. And in the final stretch, these last few boxes will taunt you until you beat them. I'd go as far as to say it's hard not to want to complete this game. Now, I mentioned before that there are 3 modes within Air Ride. You have the standard mode, Air Ride, along with the top-down mini races, Top Ride, and my favorite, the free-roaming City Trial. Air Ride mode is fairly straightforward. In this mode, you'll be racing up to 3 opponents at a time over 9 different courses. You can unlock 15 completely different Air Ride machines to race on, each one with plenty of strengths and weaknesses, making for a ton of variation in each race. In this mode and City Trial, the controls could not be more simple. Your machine automatically accelerates forward, and you hit the A button to do just about everything. From drifting and charging up a boost, to inhaling enemies and using powers, the one-button control scheme is super easy to learn for any and all players and allows you to jump right into the game and feel like you know what you're doing, even if you've never played before. The courses look absolutely gorgeous. Every single one builds its own atmosphere, and there's a lot of little shortcuts to find to keep each race interesting. Top Ride is radically different. You control one of 2 different machines based on your personal preference. The Free Star will go in whichever direction you point the control stick, while the Steer Star turns clockwise or counterclockwise by hitting right and left on the control stick respectively. If there's anything that's really tough about this game, it's definitely the Top Ride mode. Getting used to a completely different playstyle is pretty difficult, and the computer players are relentless. I don't often find myself raging at a Kirby game, but Top Ride is one of the few that just gets on my nerves. Thankfully, we have City Trial to alleviate that. This mode is why I love this game so much. All 4 players start on a compact star and roam around the city, collecting patches that boost your stats and finding new machines to ride. There's a bunch of different stats, and you have plenty of time to collect enough patches to radically change the way your machine handles. You can try and attack other players to steal their patches, or even destroy their machines to set them way behind if you want. Events will also randomly occur throughout the city, ranging from huge meteors raining down, to Dynablade attacking, to a dense fog taking over the city while cool music plays in the background. When the timer runs all the way down, the match ends with a random stadium game, pitting you and your souped-up Warp Star against your opponents. All of the games take advantage of the patches, and the stadium prediction midway through the match will give you an idea of which ones to aim for. Ranging from flying a long way, to speed-heavy drag races, to direct combat, to even racing on the Air Ride courses, these games never seem to lose their charm because every time you go into them with a new machine that has new stats. Speaking of a new machine, if you're really persistent in city trial mode, you can find pieces of the legendary Air Ride machines in some of the red boxes scattered throughout the city. These machines are drastically more powerful than the other 15 available stars, giving you a distinct edge in almost any stadium mode. Dragoon is known for its flight ability and high top speed. If you're lucky enough to have Dragoon on your side in the high jump or air glider stadium games, you're pretty much guaranteed a landslide victory. Hydra is an absolute danger on the course and spells out certain defeat in a drag race. The downside is that you can't move until you charge up to maximum, but when you start going, you go fast. Not only that, but in the city, if you ram an opponent while riding Hydra at cruising speed, it will instantly destroy whatever star they're riding. As if you already didn't have an unfair advantage, you can now reset all your opponents back to the compact star for the stadium mode. As if these legends weren't already badass enough, upon assembling all 3 parts of either one, the music instantly changes, letting everybody know exactly what they're in for. In fact, that's not the only great song in this game. If there's one thing that HAL Laboratories does right, it's menu music. Not just menu music, just about every single song in this game is extremely catchy and so much fun to listen to. The soundtrack has over 50 songs total, covering a wide range of themes and tones to fit any scenario the game can throw at you. If you're a seasoned Kirby player, you'll recognize a lot of remix tracks from Superstar, and not only that, but a ton of original songs as well. I could probably make a full video dedicated to this soundtrack. I love it so much. One fantastic thing about Air Ride is that though it's focused on multiplayer fun, the game functions equally well as a single-player title. Whenever I'd get together with my friends, we'd usually just play Super Smash Bros. Over this, so I didn't often get to experience the full game. But I still poured hours into it all by myself because the AI is actually really well programmed. Like Smash Bros., another HAL creation if you didn't already know, Air Ride allows you to tweak the difficulty of computer players to a wide range of skill levels. You can turn it down to 1 if you just feel like messing around, or if you're a masochist, you can crank it up to 9 and get steamrolled. This makes the game super accessible to a very wide range of players. And if you just feel like cruising for fun, City Trial has a free run mode that gives you access to all machines, including Dragoon and Hydra after you unlock all 3 of their parts on the checklist. It also lets you use a mode-specific star, the Flight Warp Star. Though not as flashy as Dragoon, this star allows you to fly for extended periods of time, giving you even more freedom to just enjoy the scenery. If you're looking for a casual game to play by yourself, a multiplayer party game to throw in there with Smash Bros. And Mario Party, or even just something different to play, Kirby Air Ride will give you all that and then some. My suggestion is not to listen to the critics on this one. Personally, I think Kirby Air Ride is a highly accessible, highly addictive spin-off title that doesn't get as much attention as it may deserve. And it may not be for everybody, but I'd recommend giving it a try if you've never had the chance to play it before.
Let me know what you think about Kirby Air Ride in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, you can click the annotation to check out my Fable 2 review. Also, hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any more in the future, and like the video if you really enjoyed it. This has been Sunder, and I'll see you next time.